What's up guys, we're going to be taking a look at this lab, SSRF with filter bypass via open redirection vulnerability. So there's two elements to this, a measure of control over a server-side request. We don't have full control, there's a filter in place, so we can't provide an arbitrary URL to the server-side request. However, we can make use of a second vulnerability, which is an open redirect to provide the required request to the server, hence resulting in SSRF or server-side request forgery. So we'll take a look at this in three stages. First of all, we'll have a look at the measure of control we have over the server-side request. We'll then take a look at the open redirect vulnerability. We'll then see how we can combine the two for a successful SSRF attack vector. All right, without further ado, let's access the lab. The ultimate goal here is to access an internal system with the IP address 192.168.0.12 on port 8080 at the root /admin. Now this is clearly an internal facing IP. This is not something that can be accessed over the global internet. This is why we have to make use of SSRF, because the system we're dealing with that runs the web app will potentially be able to send requests to this internal IP. Now, we've been told that the vulnerability is in the stock check API, so let's just take a look at how this works. We have a product, it's a type of shop, and we're able to check the stock for that product in a specific store. Let's just choose the check stock option, and then we'll go to take a look at the request in Burp Suite. So here is a copy of the post request. Let's just send another copy of that. We can see we get a response from the stock checker API. It's just an integer representing the number of items in the stock. Now, if we take a look at the post request body, we can see a stock API parameter. It's currently URL encoded. Over on the right hand side, we can see the decoded version, stock API equals, and we see a URL being provided as part of the post request body. In other words, alarm bells should be going off at this stage because we are sending a post request to the server. The server is looking at the stock API parameter. It's extracting the URL, then creating its own HTTP request to an internal API, which then returns the value of the stock. This is then returned to us in response to our HTTP request to the server. So the server is creating its own HTTP request in response to our HTTP request, and it's making use of the URL that's provided in the post request body here. So the typical attack vector is just to manipulate the URL provided in the post request body to see if we can get the server to send requests to arbitrary internal systems. So let's change this URL to our target. Going to provide HTTP. We'll provide the IP of our internal target, which is 192.168.0.12 /admin. Now we saw in the lab title that there is a filter in place. So let's see what happens if we change the URL. We then get a response from the server, invalid external stock check URL, invalid URL. So because there is a filter in place, it's likely checking the URL that's provided as part of the post request body. In this case, to see if it begins with /product. And if it doesn't, we may generate the error. So long as this URL begins with /product, then we won't get the error message and a second HTTP request will be dispatched from the server. The problem is, how do we access 192.168.0.12 when we're forced to start our URL parameter with /product? So this is where the open redirect vulnerability comes in. So let's sidestep this request for now. We're going to explore separately the open redirect vulnerability. Now back to our product page, if we take a look at the bottom of the page, we have a couple of navigation options. We can return to the list of products, or we can choose the next product option. So let's click next product. We'll also capture this request in Burp. So when we click that next product link, it created a GET request to /product/next product. We then have a query string, current product ID equals 2, and path equals, and you can see we have a URL provided to that path parameter in the query string. Now the response to that GET request is actually a 302 response, and we can see that it has a location header. In other words, it's redirecting the user's browser to /product, product ID equals 3. Notice that the URL in the location header is the same as the URL that was provided in the path parameter as part of that GET request. So the obvious question is, what happens if we tamper with this URL? So let's try something. HTTP www.google.com. Let's now send this. We get a redirect. Notice it has the header www.google.com. In other words, in response to this GET request, the browser is sending a 302 redirection with the location header set to google.com. So victim's browser gets sent to google.com. This is known as an open redirect. As a proof of concept, let's just grab this URL and let's paste it over our current lab. So we'll keep the initial part of the lab the same, and we're simply going to paste our URL. And we can see as part of the query string there, we're manipulating this open redirect. If I press enter, we get a 302 redirection response from the server with location header set to Google. Here we are all of a sudden at google.com. One of the reasons why the open redirect is considered a vulnerability is that it exploits the trust of a specific web domain. And this is to do with the fact that users very often only typically look at the first part of a URL. So if they see that it is a trusted domain like websecurityacademy.net, they're not imagining they're going to end up at a completely different domain after following this link. Whereas we can actually specify an arbitrary domain because of the open redirect vulnerability. So it exploits the trust of the original domain because that's where users assume they're going to end up. Now let's think back to our potential server-side request forgery attack. The problem we had is that we needed to take a URL that begins with /product, but we really wanted the request to resolve to 192.168.0.12/admin. Well, we can combine the two attacks. We can make use of that open redirect, provide an open redirect link to the server. It's going to bypass the filter because the server sees that this link does indeed begin with /product, but the link is actually going to resolve to what we specify as part of the open redirect vulnerability. Let's see how it works. So we're now back at the original post request, the one that ultimately dispatches the stock API check, and we're going to manipulate this URL. In fact, we're just going to paste our open redirect link, but instead of path equals google.com, we're going to specify path equals 192.168.0.12/admin. And one final thing we need to do here as well is just add the port number since this request is on port 8080. So let's choose apply changes. Let's send this to the backend. We get missing parameter stock API. In this case, it's because I've encoded the entire body, which was not really the right thing to do. So let's just change this %3d to equals. Let's now send this to the backend. Let's render the response. Notice we now get the admin panel. Now, the objective of the lab is to delete Carlos. And assuming that we have this in our browser, we can't simply follow the delete Carlos link because that request would be coming from us and we can't actually access this internal system. We have to go through the server. That's why it's server-side request forgery. So we need to craft another attack making use of the open redirect that visits this specific delete Carlos URL. Now, if we have a look at the page source, we can get a feel for where that URL is taking us. If we have a look at the link under delete Carlos, we can see it's taking us to /admin delete query string username equals Carlos. So let's grab that URL and we're going to modify our stock API parameter here to apply a new URL. And we can just replace the path section here and we'll just delete that / from the beginning of the URL as well. Let's choose apply changes. Let's send this to the backend. Let's have a look at the response and we get the message user deleted successfully. Taking a look at the main page, we now get the message, congratulations, you solved the lab because the objective was to delete the user Carlos. So as a quick recap, this was an example of server-side request forgery. We send a request to the server that hosts the web app, but we provoke the server into sending its own HTTP requests to an internal system. And not only can the server access those internal systems, which we can't, but also because a request is coming from the server, it's inherently trusted. Even if we were able to find some way of sending a request to the internal system, it may not be trusted because it's not originating from a source that was expected. By creating the origin of the request being the web app server itself, it's potentially going to be trusted by those internal systems. Now, we weren't able to directly make use of server-side request forgery because there was a filter on the URL that's being provided to the server. But as we've seen, we were able to combine two vulnerabilities. By making use of an open redirect, we were then able to complete the SSRF attack. Now, just thinking about this from a bug bounty perspective, if you just submitted the open redirect vulnerability, you might not get a large payout for that. Or if you'd simply found the possibility for an SSRF, but then realized you couldn't execute it because there's a filter in place, well, you're not going to get any bounty whatsoever. But you can see by combining both, we now have a very costly attack vector, very, very damaging to the web app. I mean, think about it. We can just be deleting all of the users in the web app, making use of this SSRF vulnerability, which is going to elicit a very large payout from a bug bounty program. So sometimes a little bit of patience, combination of vulnerabilities can result in something even larger for an even larger payout. All right, hope it was helpful. Thanks very much for checking out the content, and I'll catch you guys in the next lab.